Breaking news from Mad Dog Mattis. He's pissed the hell off. By Al Waisman for FreedomDaily.com. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis is pissed, and rightly so. As everyone knows by now, the federal government is now, for all intent and purposes, shut down because the Senate can't agree on a 2018 spending bill nor a stopgap measure to keep the government operating for a few extra months. The issue the senators can't agree on is immigration reform. Democrats have refused to pass a spending measure unless there is a fix for deferred action for childhood arrivals DACA, which the president rescinded last year but gave Congress until March 5th to fix. Jim Mattis took to the podium yesterday morning to confirm that this shutdown means all military maintenance and repair operations will be shut down, which, needless to say, would put our military servicemen and women's lives in jeopardy. Dana W. White, DOD, the government shutdown is destructive and puts unnecessary stress on the already stressful jobs of our service members. Time to put the money where the votes are and write the check. Hashtag FYI 8 budget, hashtag pass the budget. And why? Because of illegal criminals who have invaded our nation? Are they really worth more than the lives of our military servicemen and women to Democrats? Well, actually, yes, they are. Only 25% of those in the military vote Democrat, while a whopping 70% of immigrants vote Democrat. Via Breitbart, Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said Friday morning that a government shutdown would have a terrible impact on military operations. Our maintenance activities will probably pretty much shut down. We will not be able to induct any more of our gear that need maintenance, he said Friday morning at the Johns Hopkins University, where he was unveiling the National Defense Strategy. The government is barreling towards a shutdown at 11:59 p.m. Friday night, with the Senate unable to pass a 2018 spending bill or a stopgap measure to keep the government running. At issue is immigration reform. Democrats have refused to pass a spending measure unless there is a fix for deferred action for childhood arrivals, which the president rescinded last year but gave Congress until March 5th to fix. Republicans argue Democrats are willing to put the issue ahead of the U.S. military, which has been seriously affected by budget instability. In the event of a shutdown, troops and some civilians will continue to report to work and accrue pay, but will not receive paychecks during the shutdown. Mattis said half of his civilian workers would be furloughed, which would impact operations from contracting to military medical facilities. There is any number of projects we have underway that keep me at the top of my game and our military at the top of our game that are handled by civilians, he said. It's got a huge moral impact, he added. I'll just tell you, how long can you keep good people around when something like this happens is always a question that's got to hover around in the back of my mind. He said intelligence operations would also be impacted. I would just tell you that we do a lot of intelligence operations around the world and they cost money. Those obviously won't stop, he said. Troops themselves would also be impacted, Mattis said. While active duty troops would continue to report for duty during a shutdown, reservists would not report for duty. For example, he said, this morning or last night, young guys and gals somewhere in Wyoming were driving off to do their weekend duty. Those troops will arrive there at their armories. By the way, and told go home if there's a government shutdown, and they will then drive a couple hundred miles back home. These again are stoic men and women. They'll suck it up and say okay, he said. And I would just tell you that training for almost our entire reserve force will stop, and you must understand the critical importance of our reserves, he said. He called reserves troops the only shock absorber the U.S. military has. It's not like the old days where you could draft somebody in and 18 weeks later have them in combat with the skills they need. Today's infantrymen, they're called infantrymen because they're infant soldiers, young soldiers. They still take a year to train in order to have them ready to use the gear they have on them and make certain they have the ethical and tactical abilities to deal with the battlefield today, he said. So it's got a terrible impact. Chief Pentagon spokesperson Dana White tweeted on Friday, "The government shutdown is destructive and puts unnecessary stress on the already stressful jobs of our service members. Time to put the money where the votes are and write the check. Hashtag FYI, 8 budget, hashtag 18 budget, meaning 2018. I just got it. Hashtag pass the budget." We have reached a point where the current Democrat Party has taken it upon themselves to shut down the government over a bunch of illegals. They have chosen to side with illegals who have had over 30 years to become legalized citizens over people like you and me and our military. Never has this happened in our nation's history, to have elected public servants whom we pay to choose criminals over law-abiding American citizens. Apparently, the clowns in the Democrat Party didn't get the memo as to why we, the people, elected President Donald Trump in 2016. We are sick and tired of being being put in third place after any illegal alien or so-called dreamer who decides to break into our nation for whatever whatever cesspool they came from, only because they decided they can have a better life here. Being an American citizen and living in the U.S. isn't a world right, it's a privilege, and one that you don't decide. We, the American people, decide if we want you here. Please share if you support Mad Dog Mattis. Absolutely, absolutely, I stand behind Mad Dog Mattis. Of course, this is look at this. What does that sign say? Make America Great Again, and they put a slash as to no. You see what I'm saying? Make America Great Again, and they put a slash through it. This is what you're leaving in the country? Excuse me? No. Mad Dog Mattis better start, I don't know, get the military and arrest the Democrats for treason. That's what I say. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.